Hi students, myself Dr. Saiti, Team MDS Conquer. So the next topic that we are going to discuss in the general surgery is the venous disorders, which is quite important. So I have actually divided it as part 1 and part 2. In part 1 we will be emphasizing on the varicose veins, whereas in part 2 we will be discussing on the DVT or the deep venous thrombosis. Okay. So both all these topics which I have been discussing now is actually very important as a need point of view. So let's start. And I even hope that you are actually doing well. So don't get panic if you are not able to reach whatever you have thought of. So you have to actually aim high. So whatever the present competition, whatever the highest aim is there for this particular competition, you have to actually aim for that, and then only you will reach. Unless and until you will not aim high, you will never reach high. Okay, whether it could be All India first rank or whether it could be AIIMS first rank, whatever it could be, you should actually aim high. Your goal should be so big enough that they should actually scare you. So if they are not scaring you, then they aren't so big enough, they are not so big enough. Okay, if they are so big and if the goals are so high, then only you will work hard, you will do as well as not only hard work, you will also do smart work, and you will bring all your capabilities out during your preparation. So right now it's our only duty to sit and study. So have a lot of perseverance during your preparation. So stick to whatever the timetable is being given, and don't get disheartened, don't get any negative thoughts to come around you. Just be constant, and ups and downs are very common in any student life. So let the time flow and you go along with the time. Your only duty is to do give good amount of time and put your hard work there. That's it. Okay, so let's start the discussion now. So as I said, this particular part 1 is mainly on the varicose veins. So the varicose veins are actually nothing but they are dilated tortuous elongated superficial veins which are actually greater than 3 mm in diameter. So it should be actually measured in an upright position with a demonstrable reflex. So they are dilated veins which are greater than 3 mm in diameter, and most develop in the tributaries of the greater and lesser saphenous veins, which are usually dilated but rarely the varicose themselves. Okay, and the usual distribution is below the knee in the branches of the greater saphenous system. Okay, so whereas the varicosities in the thigh have the long saphenous incompetence, whereas at the back of the leg have the short saphenous incompetence. Incompetence is nothing but there is a damage that causes the malfunctioning of that particular vein or that particular structure. Okay, so let's coming to the stages. So stage 1 is nothing but that's normal veins we know. So stage 1 are reticular or spiral veins. Stage 2 as varicose veins or venous nodes will be seen. Stage 3 there will be edema of the lower leg, and the stage 4 is the varicose eczema or a trophic ulcer. So these are the various stages. So just have an idea. Next, coming to the primary and the secondary varicose veins. So the primary varicose veins are actually more common. So they are due to any congenital predisposition with an occupational reinforcement, and there will be decreased number or defective valves, whereas secondary varicose veins are actually less common and they actually arise from the destruction or a dysfunction of the valves which are caused by the underlying reasons, that could be trauma or deep venous thrombosis or arteriovenous fistula, and also non-traumatic proximal venous obstruction which could be either in pregnancy or any pelvic tumor. So these are the primary and the secondary varicose veins which you need to have an idea. Okay. So next, coming to its pathophysiology. So it's a defective connective tissue and a smooth muscle in the vein which is actually leading to the secondary incompetence of the valves. Okay, so there is a defective connective tissue which leads to the secondary incompetence. Next, coming to its clinical features. So the most common clinical feature that usually the patient present with, the most common symptom that the patient complains is he has a dull aching pain due to a long standing or a prolonged standing time. If he stands for a long time, then at the end of the day he develops a dull aching pain in his limbs. Okay, that is the most common symptom that the patient present with. Apart from that, besides these symptoms, there will be ankle swelling, there will be itching, there will be bleeding, and also there will be superficial thrombophlebitis. Thrombophlebitis is nothing but the inflammation that can result in the formation of a blood clot which can block one or more veins of the legs. Okay, so thrombophlebitis, and also eczema and lipodermatosclerosis. So it's nothing but the skin around that particular dilated vein will be thickened and indurated, and apart from that there will be ulceration. So these are the other symptoms that you need to have an idea. So case based questions can be asked if the patient has dull aching pain after a long standing or prolonged standing, and symptoms as shown thrombophlebitis, itching, bleeding on the sides and ulcerations. So what could be the diagnosis? Then you have to answer accordingly. So coming to the diagnosis part, the important diagnosis, the investigation which is usually followed is a duplex ultrasound, and if there is a repetitive or a recurrent varicose veins with a complex anatomy, then varicography is a better diagnosis. Okay, so these are the important points that you need to note. So as per the diagnosis, varicography in case there is repetitive or a complex anatomy, and duplex ultrasound is a usual investigation of choice. Okay. So coming to the various tests that are done for the varicose vein. So this is quite memory based, but just have a notes of that, they can be asked. So they can name the test and they can give a description and you have to answer accordingly. So Morrissey's test is nothing but a cough impulse test, whereas a Perthes test is nothing but the affected lower extremity is being wrapped with a elastic bandage and the patient is actually instructed to move or exercise. Then there will be increase in size of the varices, which indicates that there is an incompetence of the deep venous system. This is the Perthes test. Whereas in modified Perthes test, a tourniquet will be applied in the upper part of the thigh and the patient will be asked to move quickly or walk quickly with the tourniquet right in that place, and there will be severe crampy pain. Okay, so this is suggestive of again deep venous obstruction. Next is a Squash test, wherein there is long standing varicose veins if the lower part of the varicosity is tapped and an impulse is felt at the syphilis opening. So last one is a Fegan's test, wherein the palpation to find the facial defects to locate the incompetence perforators. Okay, so these are the various tests which are quite memory based, so you need to note it down. Okay, so it can be useful, it can be asked as a descriptive question, so just make a note of it. So coming to the various treatment aspects for the varicose veins, so most commonly is the injection sclerotherapy, and amongst the sclerosing agents it is the sodium tetradecyl sulfate is the most commonly used, and other sclerosing agents can be phenol or hypertonic saline, but the most commonly used is the sodium tetradecyl sulfate. So it actually destroys the lipid membranes of the endothelial cells, causing them to shed, leading to thrombosis, fibrosis and sclerosis. So this is how it treats, and not effective in eradicating the varicosities in presence of major saphenous incompetence. So if it is major, then it is not that effective, and it's usually actually better in dealing with minor varicosities which is less than 3 mm in size, and also in recurrences in the calf and the lower leg. Okay. So this is regarding the injection sclerotherapy or the sclerosing agents. So questions that is asked is the sclerosing agent that's commonly used is the sodium tetradecyl sulfate. Okay. Next is surgical treatment, wherein they will ligate the saphenofemoral and the saphenopopliteal junctions in order to remove the major part of the incompetent trunk. Next one is the radiofrequency ablation, wherein they will destroy the endothelial lining. The last one is the endovenous laser ablation, where it causes the endothelial damage. So these are the various treatment modalities for the varicose veins. Just have an idea, that's enough. Okay, no need to mark up or no need to just by heart it, idea is enough. Okay, just have an idea. Next important question is a Bisgard's regime, wherein there will be limb elevation, compression stockings and the massage of the varicose veins. So they can ask which of the following indicates a Bisgard's regime, then you have to answer like this. Okay, coming to the various indications, so either it could be for a cosmetic point of view or the symptoms refractory to conservative therapy, bleeding from a varix, superficial thrombophlebitis, lipodermatosclerosis and a venous status ulcer. So these are the various indications where you have to go for the interventional therapy for the varicose veins. So just have a look and have an idea, that's enough. Next important point is recurrence after surgery is actually up to 10%, and the most common cause of discomfort after the varicose vein surgery is the hematoma or ecchymosis. So these are the two important key points that you need to note. So recurrence is around 10% and common cause of discomfort after the surgery is hematoma or ecchymosis. Okay. So coming to the other key points, so champagne bottle leg it resembles like a champagne bottle leg, especially in the varicose veins, and presence of an ankle flare is suggestive of venous hypertension. So these are the other two important points that you need to note. So champagne bottle, it resembles like that, so that is seen in varicose veins, okay, whereas presence of ankle flare is seen in venous hypertension. That's it. So coming to the various other treatment modalities, so the first one is a SEPS, that is subfacial endoscopic perforator vein surgery, that is being done, and it is a new modality endoscopic technique for the management of chronic venous insufficiency due to any incompetent perforator veins, and it involves a insertion of a rigid endoscope through the skin and the superficial fascia to create a plane above the muscle such that the perforator veins are visible as they exit the muscles. So this is how the treatment is being done. So mainly you remember the name, that's enough. So SEPS is a new, they can ask which of the following is the latest treatment modality or the endoscopic technique that is being used to treat the insufficiency or the venous insufficiency, then you have to answer like this, okay, that is subfacial endoscopic perforator vein surgery. And one more modality which is latest used is the trans-illuminated powder phlebectomy, also called as TIP, which is using a Trivex system. This has two major components. So first, instrument illuminates the varicose veins through the skin with using an advanced technology, fiber optic technology, and then a suction draws the vein into the tip of the vein resector, while the rotating blade actually effectively removes the leg vein. With this varicose vein treatment, large cluster of varicose veins can actually accurately be removed through a minimal number of small incisions, and it is far most effective than other forms of the varicose vein surgery. So question can be asked, which of the following is more effective in treating large clusters of varicose veins, and which is newer varicose veins treatment? Then you have to go for this Trivex system, wherein there will be trans-illuminated powered phlebectomy, okay. So this is very important, just have a note of that. So this is the latest one, especially, and latest as well as effective, especially in cases of large clusters of varicose veins, okay. No need to like break your head with the complex type of treatment that they do and how they do, because they are not going to ask you, or they are not going to ask you the description to write how they do. So mainly what they do and how, just bit little idea. So you should know something about it, that's the reason I have put this forward, okay. Next, coming to the Tredelengber operation, it is most commonly done for the treatment of the varicose veins, so that you have to remember. So here there is a saphenofemoral disconnection will be there. So it is the juxtafemoral flush ligation of the great saphenous vein to the femoral vein. So this is the Tredelengber operation. So that is one of the commonly used surgical modality for the treatment of the varicose veins, okay. So next, the other important term that you need to know is the lipodermatosclerosis. So it is nothing but the skin changes that occur as a consequence of the chronic venous insufficiency. The components include the pigmented skin, the inflamed subcutaneous tissue, and also elevated venous pressure, which facilitates the extravasation of the RBCs and the fluid, leading to inflammation. So these are the three components, So these are the three components that you need to note. So the pigmented skin, inflamed subcutaneous tissue, and also elevated venous pressure that facilitates the extravasation of the RBCs and fluid, leading to inflammation. And the pigmentation is mainly due to the fixation of the hemosiderin into the tissue. And the most common area is the goiter area above the medial malleolus. So these are the important points. It's not that important, lipodermatosclerosis, but lipodermatosclerosis actually occur in relation to varicose veins as well as in relation to DVT. So just what is it and what are the important components that you need to have an idea. That's it, students. So thank you. So it is like you have to just have a good idea so that at least you can answer. So based on elimination, so general surgery, it's not like you can't go deep into the subject and you can't know everything regarding the general surgery. So it's just that you have to have an idea of what are the important topics and what are the important subheadings and sub-important topics, sub-important points related to those topics, okay. So that's it, students. Thank you. And yeah, one more thing I just wanted to tell you. See, during this preparation, It's like you can't know everything. It is during the preparation you should feel like you should have one thing in your mind, that you are jack of all and master of none. Okay, you are jack of all, you know something about everything, but you are just not a master of one thing. You should have an idea about everything. You are jack of all and master of none. After getting your seat, you will become a master of that one particular subject, whatever you are interested in. So just have that idea. So getting everything, imbibing everything, you want to know about everything about whatever is there in your textbooks, it's not possible. Okay, just have a good idea of the subject and good concept of the subject. That's enough in getting your seat, whatever you want it for. Okay.